David's time. David Joel has been here many times, but not in here. And his role, when he has come here in the past, has not been this. It has been as kind of a, shall we say, a probation officer of sorts. Fair? Right, that's what David, and he's no longer assigned to our school. So David has an amazing story to tell, and part of that story, he wants to talk about the school he wants to build. But I think he'll probably weave in that some of his story, his journey. David also has a children's book that he's going to share some of that with you as well. So without any further ado, if you would please welcome David Joel.
Good morning. Good morning. This is actually a very full house. I want to thank your principal, the school, all of you for inviting me to come and speak to you this morning. What a great honor to be here. I'm really, really happy and pleased to be here with you. School is really important for me, and I know it is for you, and I know it is for the teachers. They come to school every morning wanting to make a difference in someone's life. Teachers are very well-educated people. They can go anywhere to get a job, but they choose to be in school every day. What a dedication. Can we give them a hand, please? Before I go to my talk, I have someone that I know here. I work with her dad, Jamie Lillistall. Is she here? Can you raise your hand? Right there. And Dad say, go Viking. No, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. I was born in southern part of Sudan in East Africa. I came here when I was 19 years old. Dream of education never been in my table, never been on my table. My life was shattered by war that started before I was born. When I was a kid, we run hour by hour, day by day, trying to avoid bullets, bombs. That's what our life was like when I was growing up. When I was a kid, at the age of 8 years old, I was snatched at night. I was taken to the training camp to become a soldier. The first gun I ever used was AK-47, a Russian-made AK-47. At the age of 9, I went to a combat. I was shot on my left leg. The bullet stuck on my foot for 7 months. No good doctor to go to take it out. But my dad did what a parent or a father and mother would do to take care of their children. My dad paid a big price. He paid 20 cows to get me out of the military. Cows in our tradition, in our tribe, are big. Big because those are the only source of income you have. You want to get married, you pay 40 cows for one woman. You don't pay it, the marriage is not happening. And that is true. So he took a risk and paid 20 cows so he could get me home. So he can take care of my foot. He got a local man to dig out the bullet from my foot. There's no anesthesia or pain medication to take. You have to just stab it out. It was painful, but it has to be done. After my wound was healed 3 months, another thing happened. The village was attacked. If I show you my chest, you could not believe what you would see. A piece of hand grenade struck me in the chest. Thank God for clothes that we wear. The only time that the kid asks questions is when I take my kid to swimming pool, and they would say, what happened to you? And I would go home in the evening and would tell my wife, I lied again today. Because I didn't want to tell the kid that I was shot or hurt by a hand grenade. My life was difficult. I was separated with my family when I was 10 years old. That's when I started my life. I didn't know where my mom and my dad or my sibling were. I was born in a big family, 25 brothers and sisters. Big family. I left not because I was a bad kid, not because my parents were bad people, but we were separated because of the war. But God protected me and saved me. Lived in a refugee camp in Ethiopia till 1991, from 1986 to 1991, and then lived in a refugee camp in Kakuma in Kenya for another almost 5 years, almost 10 years in a refugee camp in East Africa. Dreaming of becoming educated person, never been on my table. But something changed. When I was brought to South Dakota when I was 19 years old, that opened my eyes. It opened my eyes quite a bit. Young man, 19 years old, do not know anybody. There was some special teacher that's standing here today, wanted to make a difference in your life in this Brandon High School. They saw something in me and say, you can do something for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, education is not a joke. If you want to make a difference in your life, in your family life, in your home country of South Dakota, of the United States of America, or this world, education is what you have to follow. It did for me. It did for my family back in Africa. I care for my mom and 36 grandkids. Those are my brothers and sisters' kids. This is where I was born, in the Sudan. These are the kids going to school in the Kurwako region of Sudan where I came from. Under school. They don't have school building like here. This is the village where I was born. If a kid, myself, was born here, in these houses, there's no running water. There's no toilet. You have to walk a distance to go to bathroom. If a kid from this village can go to school, make a difference for himself, for his home community, what can you do? Never take education as a joke. You want to change? Stay in school. Go to school with a smile. Be kind and humble. Make a difference in anybody's life. Your classmate, your neighbor, even your teacher. Make a difference in someone's life. You don't have to be young as you are. You don't have to be big as I am. It doesn't matter what side you are. It's what you present that make a difference. These are the village people in the Korwako area. The woman was dancing. After that, I came home. Some of them never saw me when I was a kid, but they heard of me. They have churches like we do here, but absolutely different building. If you can see close enough, or under the tree, school, you can see Steve Young. Steve Young is a journalist from August Leader here in Sioux Falls. He went with me in February last year. That is the actual classroom, actually. Steve and I went to sit and visit with kids. You can see him there. In the village life, is governed by the chief of the village. But because Steve was a guest, he had to sit in the chair. Otherwise, everybody sit on the floor. Kids do not have table, no chairs, no pen and pencil. Teacher, I just volunteer. Some of them are 5th graders who graduate and they're teaching because they want to share their knowledge with the kids. The source of living are cattle, as I told you, farming. It reminds me of home in South Dakota. We do a lot of farming. Fish. I go fishing, but I do it for fun in South Dakota. But if you go home in Sudan, food is very limited in the area. I eat my first breakfast when I came to South Dakota when I was 19 years old. It's always one meal a day. As we speak today, when I went back, Last year, children have 1 meal a day if they're lucky. There's no breakfast, no lunch, no snack, no nothing. 1 meal a day. One of the things that really made me proud of what I do is allowing an opportunity for girls to go to school. Since before 2010, girls were not allowed to go to school in my village. It broke my heart. Most of my teachers, most of the people I work with are women. They bring a greater knowledge and opportunity for growth in the community. Why do we let them out of the thing that we do? I say equal opportunity for all children. You know, because I've been in South Dakota. I have been given opportunity to change, to be educated. People made a difference in me. I want to make a difference in someone else. So you can do it as well. I was talking to kids. They want to know more about South Dakota, what children here do, what they eat, what game they play. A lot of questions they were asking me. The age variation is quite interesting. All of you who are freshmen, maybe you're 14 or 13 years old. But some of these guys, they're 17 and they're still in second grade. This is one of the largest schools in the area. You can see the kids. That classroom holds 200 children in one classroom. And this is where I took 5 coin grinders, put them there. Every morning, all the girls in the village, they bring sorghum, maize, and millet, and put it by the grinder. 2 elders from the village, they will grind all the coins while the girls go to school. So they don't have to grind corn all day. Look at this girl, she's 7 years old. This is one of the girls that generate my interest in doing what I do. I say this girl someday, she would become a teacher and teach kids to become well educated. She would be like you here. I talked to her dad and I said, why this girl is not going to school? And she said, who's going to grind corn all day? Can you imagine a young girl like that yourself, grinding corn to make a flour for 25 people all day? Take 8 hours of work. It's a challenge. It has to change. This is the Kurwako River. This is where they get their water. There's no drinking water. This is where everybody go take bath. Someone will be taking a shower here and you're getting your drinking of water. Really dirty water, they're not clean. You can see the grinder that we took, the young girls, they're trying those, and the whole way of doing it. Girls, they're the ones that do all the work, cooking, collecting firewood, getting water. They walk for 10 to 15 miles a day to go get the water. It's really hard. Last year, thanks to the people of South Dakota for their hard work, for their prayer and donation that they give us. For the first time, we put in a well in the village of the Kurwako. Right now, they have clean water. My hope and prayer is this: God permit us and keep us well. Next year, we will have a school building for the kids. I wrote a children's book about my life. The reason I decided to write a children's book, I would have written an adult book, but because when I was a kid, I didn't get a chance to be loved, to be cared for, to be educated. I know that every child deserves to be cared for, to be loved and educated. And that's what Brandon Valley High School wanted to do. Want to make a difference in your life. Want you to be somebody someday. Want you to transform this community. Their time will come and pass. You, generation that is coming, will come back here to be teachers. Will come here to be principal of school, superintendent, doctor, engineer, lawyer and judges, Governor of South Dakota, President of the United States. They are in this room. But guess what? If you take education as a joke, you will not go there. Never let anybody tell you you are not somebody. Never. Always dream big. Always. You want to do better in your life, be kind to other people. Always be kind. You are very special. We are all very special. Never forget that. Never, never forget that. I never thought that someday I would be standing here in this room speaking to you. But God allowed me to survive two terrible, terrible, tragic times in my life. And I thank God for that. So all of you in this room, it doesn't matter what your situation is, always remember, tomorrow is a better day. Thank you so much for having me.
One of the reasons that we wanted David to come is because our worlds are pretty small sometimes. And David comes from a place that a lot of us can't even imagine. And from an experience, again, if you try to be the thought that you would get taken from your family at the age of 8, that you would enter battle at the age of 9 and get shot, that eventually at 10 you would work your way off into refugee camps and spend almost 10 years. You can learn more about the story of David or people like David who struggled through those years. 60 Minutes just did a great thing this past weekend on the Lost Boys of Sudan, which David would be one of those. And just to talk about their struggle and all of the things that they have gone through, and then all of the successes like David. And I think it brings an appreciation, but what I also love about David's story is that David decided to give back. He didn't just say, I'm out of there, I found a safer place and a healthier and a freer place. But instead he goes back, because to help provide education, especially for the girls in his village, we need to free up their time. We can't have them grinding corn all day, and we can't have them hauling water from a long way off all day, because if they do that, they're never going to get to school. So David's made a commitment, along with a number of people in the Sioux Falls area and others, to bring the tools that will allow them to grind the corn more quickly, to build wells for clean water as opposed to the same water that you took a bath in, and to help build schools. And those are all things that David's very passionate about. And I don't know that that's something that you're going to do or not. That's what David's doing with his life and giving back, while still being a husband and father and an employee, doing his work in law enforcement. He still is doing this other piece. We can all do something, whether that's here or a long way off. We all have that ability. And so that's one of the reasons that David is here today. And I'm very proud. Now, I know you guys don't always like this, but our guests love this. And so, yes, I'm going to ask you to do this. So would you please stand? This is a BB thing. Some of them do it more energetically in an arena than they do it here. But I just love this, and I think our guests love it. And who thinks David deserves it? Who thinks David deserves it? All right, then give it to David like he deserves it. Can I have like the front row just turn around and lead everybody? Okay, front row, here we go. This is for you, David. Like you mean it, because you do. I've asked one of your own to come up for a minute. In the meantime, can you flip over the stuff for me? I've asked Molly Stevens to come up. Molly talked to me a couple weeks ago, and she was very excited about this. And I want you to get this from the perspective of someone that's your age. So I told Molly she can have like 3 or 4 minutes. Molly just returned from a mission trip to Haiti. And so she can talk about, from the perspective of someone your age, what you can do.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago I went on a mission trip to Haiti. I went through Lifelight. They gave me a scholarship so I could go for free, which was cool. But yeah, just wanted me to talk about how you don't have to be an adult to do something. So in Haiti we did eyeglass clinics. We tested around 2,000 people for reading glasses so they can get jobs. And Haiti, if you don't know where it is, it's this little tiny country that's, it's on an island that's like sort of by Florida. And they've got a lot of issues with, I bet you've all heard of it because of the earthquake. So that was, I don't even know, 10 years ago, not even 3 years ago. But they're having a lot of trouble now because, for one thing, they're afraid to go back and live in their homes because Haiti hadn't been taught about earthquakes because they've never had one for like 300 years before that one, so they stopped teaching it in schools. So when they started building everything out of concrete because they didn't know that earthquakes could happen and that concrete's not that great to build things out of. So now they won't go back to their homes because they're made out of concrete and they remember the concrete roofs falling on them. So they live in tents, and there's these huge tent cities that people live in, and they won't go in buildings with concrete. So, so we go down and we educate people, and a lot of organizations are rebuilding things not out of concrete, so they'll go in them. So yeah, and they can't get jobs because a lot of them, they have a literacy problem too. So Haiti's got a lot of need. When you fly in, the whole country, as you look down from your airplane, the entire country is circled with about a mile of garbage in the ocean. Like that's, so they don't have any fishing either. They can't get food. And okay, a couple of, I'll tell interesting stories because that's what I have. But like, when I would do eyeglass clinics, people would just tell you their life stories because nobody listens, and we would. So everyone remembers the earthquake. Like they remember where they were, they remember what happened. And like I had one lady who came in and said, yeah, I had 7 kids and our roof collapsed and killed all 7 of my kids. And everyone has a story like that. And it impacts you, obviously, to listen to those stories. And people talk about how, like, they would get a phone call from somebody that's trapped under their house, and there's nothing they could do. And people just died on the phone. And living through that, you can just see in everyone's eyes, and it's heartbreaking. And even the little kids, they're so mature because they've gone through so much, and yet they have so much like energy and enthusiasm about life, even though we all know where they're going to end up. They're not going to have a job. They're going to live off about $1 a day. They don't have food. And in Haiti, there's no such thing as suicide. That doesn't even cross their mind. Like, why would you take your own life? That doesn't make sense to them. That surprised me because I look at America and we have such a huge problem with that right now. And we've got everything, and they have nothing, and that it doesn't exist. So just stuff like that you wouldn't learn just living in America. That if you go somewhere else, you see things that amaze you. We went to a church and I watched live exorcisms, and like you wouldn't see that here. So hey, you told me to talk. Don't take my mic.
Said when I get off the microphone, have you noticed the girl's been on stage before? Do you sense the passion and the energy? Okay, and the fact that it doesn't matter what age you are or what your gifts and talents are, right? Now I'm going to take her microphone away. Let's do this. This is a great example, and we've got other kids in here who've gone on mission trips to inner cities, to Native American reservations, overseas. We've had lots of kids who've had that experience and have come back incredibly blessed by that. Also want to know that many of you have participated in other things. I think of Cole Hensey and the group of people that you put together to go to Minneapolis this year to feed my starving children. And those of you who've done the Feeding South Dakota stints, and those of you who've worked at the banquet. Just take all of those kinds of things. This school and what you did for Volunteers of America for the Bowden Youth Center's homecoming. This school and what you did for the House family and what you did for the McGee family. It doesn't have to be a big thing. But it can certainly make a difference in the lives of people. And we've got that big chance. I don't want you to forget, okay? The service project. Let us shower the Avera Children's Hospital tomorrow with gifts and toys for kids who end up in the hospital. Let's have a great gift shower. Let's fill the shelves. Those shelves should not be empty. I remember when this school did the teddy bear drive. Were you guys freshmen, seniors? Yeah, remember that? And the visitation center in Sioux Falls where kids who were separated from their family because their parents don't know how to take care of them. And the kids get to come and meet their parents at the visitation center and have supervised visits until the parents learn how to properly take care of their kids. And when those kids come the first time, they get a bear. And that bear is there waiting for them every time they come to visit their parents. And when they come for their last visit, the bear goes home with them. And hopefully they go home with their parents. And they were running out of bears. And when this school got done, they had 400 of them. And that was a project from this year's seniors for freshmen. Let's shower the Children's Hospital. Let's fill the treasure chest for the kids at Avera. Here's some of the things, but just think about that. What would you bring if you were going to bring something for a little kid? If you were a little kid in the hospital, what would you want? If you were a teenager in hospital, what would you want? Bring those kinds of things, but do not. They are not able to accept these things. Used items for fear that there might be, germs, whatever. They cannot take used items. There are other places that will, but this is not one of those. Okay? Read that list. Do it with a friend. Do it with a group of friends. But bring things tomorrow. Let's fill up the stage tomorrow with stuff. It's a part of our celebration of tomorrow. One last thing. There you are. Speaking of Haiti, this is where Joe Peters is right now, waiting to come home to his parents, John and Ann Peters. So we got dancing with the staff coming up. Okay, if you're a staff member who's already been that dance, get up here, let's go. If you're a staff member and we're dancing with the staff, get up here, let's go. Come on. Come on, get up here. I want to see what my competition looks like. Ain't much, apparently. I know Brick's gone, so he's not. Well, Risty. Okay, Risty did the splits. I might have a little competition here. Risty's, I can't do the splits. I can't, I'm not that loose for that. Now, here are some. I know that Tony Cook, one of our janitors, he's on board. He's in this thing. I know we got a few elementary teachers that are in this thing. But if you will also now turn your eyes to the sides of the facility, you will notice that we have numerous staff members who are sad at this point because they have not been selected to be in Dancing with the Staff. And I know how much some of them would love to be selected to dance. I know how good they could be. I've seen some of them in years past. But this is a student-asking event. The staff does not ask students. This is up to you. We have 22 entrants at the current point. 40 would be great. Yes? 40 would be outstanding. Now, this is impromptu, so you gotta go with me on this. and then we're going to go back to class. But Siddig and I are going to show you something. You ready, Siddig? Come here, Siddig. Come here, Siddig.
All right, now look. If you decide to do this, we will teach you how to dance. And you don't have to be good, because if you're bad, you're out in the first round. And that's great. But you still have fun. You can come Sunday night. We're going to teach. Where are you? There you are. Okay.
You can do this too.
Huh?
You can do this too.
You can do this. So, you ready? We're going to teach you how to jitterbug. Just some basic stuff. Yeah, right? Like this. And then you grab it like this. More behind your back. You spin over the top. You do a little bit of a baby. We'll teach you this one.
Don't dump her in the pit.
This one. You ready for the spin? Oh, here it comes. You ready? We're going to teach you how to do this one.
We can teach you how to do every one of those things. Now, which teacher do you want to throw around the stage? That's up to you. And they don't have to be here. They can be at the elementary, they can be at the middle school. I don't care. Yeah. And all of the money, the goodwill offering, everything goes to get Joe Peters home. So before we dismiss, take a look around. Think of the elementary, the middle school. Okay. I did notice, where are my freshmen? Hi, freshmen. I did notice that Mr. Thorson isn't signed up yet, Taylor. And I know how sad he is about that. But we have teachers that would love to participate. And it's for a great cause. And I guarantee you, the practice is a ton of fun. We laugh a ton. Next 2 Sunday nights in here, we're going to practice. If you want to do this, you got to sign up by Monday, because that's the deadline for my t-shirt guy. Everybody who's in this gets a t-shirt, and we wear them that night. So I got to have them ordered by Monday. So who would you want to get up on this stage? Just think about that, huh? If you have 4th period lunch, stay